A stranger blocking the entire pavement stopped me and said, "I'm autistic. This is the side I walk on." A woman blocking the entire pavement stopped me and said, "I'm autistic. This is the side I walk on." I was walking on the left side of the pavement, on the right side of the road, in the United Kingdom, so I was closest to oncoming traffic. And I spotted a suspected couple walking towards me hand in hand. They were taking up the whole pavement, and neither of them seemed to move out of the way as I walked closer, so I stuck to my position. As we met, still neither of them had moved, so I stopped in my tracks, and the last said, "I'm autistic. This is the side I walk on." From a quick glance and my understanding of autism, physical contact and talking to strangers are usually difficult for autistic people, so I told her to fuck off. After that, and me standing my ground for 2 seconds, she managed to walk around me, albeit with a shocked look on her face. I get that I could have been a bit less blunt and said, "Grow up," or something, but I feel that if the boyfriend knew she was autistic and that was her side of the path, then he would have moved to her side, allowing me to walk around them on the other side of the pavement. Have I read the situation wrong, and am I the jerk? Up next. He would grab my tummy and give me this weird smirk, but that wasn't even the worst part. The relationship has been amazing, and I think he is such a perfect partner, but there is one issue. I am slightly overweight, size 40 to 42 EU, or 8 to 10 US, and he is slim but not necessarily fit. He does not go to the gym. The comment started around 3 months into us dating. He asked me to start doing some kind of sport. I agreed, but then I did not go because of my very time-consuming school schedule. But I started to eat less. He then felt a little sad that I would not eat junk food with him, and so on. So I then stopped dieting. He has not really said anything related to my weight, except sometimes he grabbed my tummy and gave me a weird smirk. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had a small disagreement, and he flat out said he does not like my body. I was shocked and spent the last few days crying almost every night. I told him how I feel, and he feels very apologetic and puts more effort into our relationship. I am back on my diet, and every time I mention something about it, he feels guilty. But then, I found out the real truth. I do not know how to feel. I have been distancing myself from him, and he notices. Is there anything I can do, except working out and dieting, of course? But that wasn't the worst part. To make a long story short, my boyfriend said he does not like my body, and now I am losing feelings. He now feels apologetic. I am unsure of what to do. I decided to take the advice of most people, which was to leave. Or, well, I tried. He is begging me not to go. He says he feels very sorry, and he wants to prove that he loves me regardless of what my body looks like. This may change the whole perspective for some, maybe, but I am his first girlfriend and first everything. So far, I am staying because I want to see if his behavior changes. I will continue to diet healthily and might dump him once I lose weight if his behavior stays the same. Eventually, I left. He has a serious porn addiction. It was for the best. My body will never be good enough for him, and that is okay. That's where the original poster left off, but the comment section had a lot to say. The top reply, from user EZZ with 196 upvotes, put it bluntly. It's a hurtful thing to do, and of course it will make you question him and doubt his attraction. That was user EZZ. Another commenter, user CuriousCat, with 104 upvotes, weighed in. How do you feel about your body? When he's apologetic, does he say he wishes he said it more kindly, or that he didn't mean it and he loves your body? End of reply. Then user Big Panic Energy shared this perspective. You're 20. Don't waste your youth trying to attain a beauty standard others, especially a guy, are demanding you adhere to. Get healthier for your own sake if you feel out of shape, but never get smaller for a man. If he's able to weaponize your weight and body against you in a disagreement, what's to stop him from doing it again? What's stopping him from making remarks about your other features whenever he's got an off day? Focus on beautifying yourself and getting healthier for yourself, and honestly, break up with him. There are men out there who love their partners through weight fluctuations and various types of transformations. You shouldn't settle. Strong words from user Big Panic Energy. Let me know in the comments which side you're on. Up next. After 10 years without sex and a husband addicted to porn, the thing that finally ended our marriage was a simple house key. Just want to be super duper clear about that. But I still held out some hope until this weekend. Now I'm like, GTFO, I don't want to breathe the same air. This is more of a vent, 'cause I feel crazy. And no, I'm not leaving my DH just because of his mom. There are a lot of other issues. For example, DH is addicted to porn, and we haven't had sex in 10 years. I'm on a chore list. He has to remind himself to kiss me. I told him not to ever touch me after seeing that. His mother. Oh, his mother. His mother has been a consistent problem in our marriage. Always looking down her nose, judgy, just general nosiness and a stick in the mud. I was already on the edge of divorce, but dang, she really outdid herself this weekend. I hope to keep father-in-law. I know I won't, but darn, dude. He and I ended up going for a drive to get away from her crazy-making behavior. So over time, she's done the usual asking about grandchildren, having an opinion on everything, shittiness about my parents. They do deserve it, I will be honest. Passive aggressiveness with me, etc. But what really set the tone? In 2018, I bought a house alone because she decided she didn't want to be off her son's bank accounts. He lied about this numerous times, and would spy and see what he was spending his money on. But that wasn't the worst part of her control. He wasn't allowed to share finances with me. She also took control over my phone without my knowledge. DH transferred it, and it kept popping up as Phil's name, even though I'm an executive, and it was embarrassing. Mother-in-law wouldn't take her husband's last name, so the hypocrisy is bad. But she insisted on knowing on what was going on with her baby boy's equity. I said nothing. He decided to not pay bills and be financially married to you so he doesn't get crap. Well, according to her, that's not how marriage works, or divorce, so yeah. Anyways, this weekend was Phil's birthday. She wouldn't let him have a beer. No medical reason not to, and he wasn't driving. Wouldn't let him have nachos. Was found lurking and snooping in my office. Made comments about my weight constantly, and the usual crap comments. The cherry on top? She started demanding a key to my house. My house. She lives 5 hours away and doesn't drive. She doesn't need it. And my DH was looking to give it to her. I piped up and said, no. There are 2 ways to get into our house if we ever needed to. She has no reason to need a key, especially since she lives 5 hours away and doesn't drive. It doesn't make sense. Oh man, did she pout. At that point, she decided to take over my kitchen, and I wasn't allowed to cook or make myself a sandwich. She just stood in the way. She then wouldn't let anyone get spoons to enjoy dessert. She held my kitchen island hostage. I just can't imagine going into someone's house and getting mad that they won't give me a key and then taking over their kitchen to just be an ass. I tore my husband a new one and told him I was done with his mother's trophy behavior. She's not allowed to come over anymore. She does not get to put a flag down in my house. My house, that I bought alone because he's too busy being married to his mother. I know he's enmeshed. I know she's selfish. The husband chose his mother, and now he's losing his wife. But geez, let your husband have some darn nachos and a beer. He's 72. DH now wants an emergency couples counseling session. I'm not interested. I told him to go marry his mom, counting the days until this isn't my problem anymore. As I told him immediately going and hunting for Key without talking to me and bending to mommy was it for me. That's where the original poster left off, but the comment section had a lot to say. The top reply, from GD God Knows It, with 177 upvotes, put it bluntly. I hope your husband has no rights to your home. I'm glad you're divorcing him. Strong words from GD God Knows It. Another commenter, US Snowdrop Girl, weighed in with this. Throw yourself a party, even if you are the only attendee, when you don't have to see or speak to either of them ever again. It is a shame about your father-in-law being stuck with that woman, but unfortunately, he is an adult who makes his own choices, and you can't file for divorce on someone else's behalf. That was the perspective of US Snowdrop Girl. Then, US Lisa Knows Best pushed back with some advice. Poor father-in-law. Good for you. Now send your ex back to mommy and change the locks. I'd start packing his things up now. There is no need for him to drag it out. Any chance you can get your mother-in-law out of where you work? End of reply from US Lisa Knows Best. Let me know in the comments which side you're on. Up next, my boyfriend would eat the entire hearty meal I prepared and then immediately make himself a whole frozen pizza. With him, he expects proper dinners, so nothing small or easy, no hassle, essentially every day of the week. Here are the more annoying grievances. He will open a bag of chips and literally sit there and finish the entire effing bag right after eating what I'd consider a pretty hearty meal. He does this a lot and has actually even made himself a whole frozen pizza after eating the entire meal I've prepared. Anyway, so he finishes the bag of chips in one sitting, then goes for a bag of chocolate-covered nuts and polishes off those too. Now, as I'm writing this, he's in the kitchen having a bagel with cream cheese and a coffee that is meant for our weekly breakfasts at 7 p.m. Who am I to say what another grown adult can and cannot eat? But these habits in particular get on my nerves because nothing ever lasts in this house, and it's effing expensive. If it were just me living here, the groceries would not be nearly as costly, and snacks would last way more than 2 days. But that wasn't the worst part. It's irritating that he doesn't think, oh, my girlfriend may want some of these chips this week. Maybe I should just pour a portion into a bowl for myself instead of eating them all. Apparently, I'm a jerk for being annoyed by this. I don't know. That is where the original poster left things, but the comment section had a lot to say about the situation. One reader, user SharaHero, whose advice received 283 upvotes, suggests a change in routine. Stop cooking for him. Each of you fend for yourselves. He needs to contribute a larger portion towards grocery costs if he is literally eating full meals for an after-dinner snack. You aren't even married. Do you want to deal with this forever? That was a blunt reality check from user SharaHero. Another commenter, user Curious382, with 104 upvotes, weighed in. He can eat as much as he wants as long as he is pitching in grocery shopping, meal planning, and preparing, and buys or leaves enough food for another person for shared food. If he routinely kills a bag of chips, he needs to buy enough chips for him for the week, plus a couple for the original poster. And he has to start cooking. He can make party-sized portions and store a few days' worth of leftovers for himself. Big Bear gotta eat? Big Bear gotta cook. That was user Curious382. Then, user occasionally stabby added this perspective. Stop cooking for him. Stop buying groceries for him. What exactly does he bring to this relationship? Because the day my man called me a bitch would be the day he was no longer my man. Strong words from user occasionally stabby. What do you think? Should she stop cooking for him, or is he just a hungry guy? Let me know in the comments. Up next, my son disrupted my coaching session 6 times with swearing and screaming, but it was my husband's text that made me lock myself in the study. I usually have my 3 primary school-aged kids, aged 10, 9, and 7, in after-school care, but that didn't work out this week, so I took my kids with me. It's a sport my kids can take part in and are good at, but I don't include them in my session because my youngest doesn't respect me as a coach, and it sets a bad precedent for the other kids. Their parents are also paying for them to be there, and I don't want my kids disrupting their time. I asked my husband, a 43-year-old male, to pick my youngest kid up. He would get there about 20 minutes into the session. 30 minutes in, as I send the players for a drink break, I see a text that he came, saw the kid playing, and the kid didn't want to leave with him, so my husband left. In that entire session, my kid disrupted us at least 6 times, with swearing, screaming, and kicking other kids. I texted my husband saying that he needed to come back and take him, and my husband refused as he was already home 10 minutes away. He didn't come, and I was pissed. I got the kids home, and since I had already made dinner before I went to work that morning, my husband was heating it up. But that wasn't the worst part. So I left him to it, and the kids, and locked myself in the study for 50 minutes. I let him get them to eat and shower and not fight because they always need to be told more than once, and the youngest fights a lot. My husband goes to work at 6 a.m. I get up at 6:30 and make the kids' lunches. I wake them at 7 a.m., and it's an hour of nagging to eat, to pack their bags, to dress, to not effing fight, and to get out the door. I do it all in the morning. I'm tired of my 7-year-old's crap behavior and my husband's lack of support. I'm so pissed because he knows what the youngest is like, and I asked him for help by taking him home, and he let me down. I pushed for therapy last year, and the therapist said it was likely he had oppositional defiant disorder. My husband felt it was a waste of money, and we weren't making progress or getting any strategies. I always planned to find another therapist, but we never got back to it because my husband wasn't on board. Just needed to rant. That's where the original poster left off, but the comment section had a lot to say. The top reply from user My Back Hurt with 204 upvotes put it bluntly. So he knows your kid would be disruptive and couldn't put the effort into taking the kid away to let you work? My God, so disrespectful. Oh, how nice he got to go home to a cooked dinner already for him too. Sorry, I am pissed off for you and being treated like that. Good for you for leaving him to do some actual parenting for the night. He certainly didn't seem to earlier. Strong words from user My Back Hurt. Another commenter, user Standard Jaguar 8793, weighed in. I am so sorry that your significant other is a crappy parent. Have you talked to your kid's school? If the therapist thinks he has ODD, then you can request a school evaluation to see if he needs supports there. Often, a school psychologist can offer assistance at school and home, or, if not, can offer strategies. That was user Standard Jaguar 8793. Let me know in the comments which side you are on.